For 3 videos, we've built exactly one agent, a single loop. We gave it tools, we gave it a memory. One smart little machine running until the job's done. But that is not where the hype is right now. Open any AI feed and it's the same promise. Don't build one agent. Build a whole team of them. A swarm. Agents that hand off, check each other, divide the work. More agents, more brains, more intelligence. Right? It sounds obviously true. 2 heads beat 1. Except when you actually measure it, that's mostly not what happens. A team of agents is often slower, dramatically more expensive, and less reliable than one good agent on its own. So today, how do multi-agent systems actually work? When does a team genuinely beat a single agent? And why do so many of them quietly fall apart? By the end, you'll know the 3 ways agents get wired together. The one job a team is genuinely better at, and the part nobody selling you a swarm wants to mention. No hype, no jargon wall. Let's get into it. First, we have to clear up what the word even means, because it's thrown around for things that aren't it. Here's the trap. Just because a lot is happening doesn't make it multi-agent. If you wire up a fixed sequence of steps, summarize, then translate, then format, that's a pipeline. The path is hard-coded. You decided the order, not the model. That's a workflow, not a team. And here's the sneaky one. You can have a single agent that calls specialists, a coding helper, a search helper, as if they're just tools. It picks one, gets an answer, keeps going. That feels like a team. It isn't. One loop is in charge the whole time. So what's the actual line? It's who's in control. It's only truly multi-agent when control gets handed off, when one agent stops, and a different agent takes over the next turn, owns the decision, runs its own loop, and the mechanics are almost funny. A handoff is just a special tool call, transfer to researcher, that passes the conversation over to another agent. That's it. Under the hood, agents talk to each other the same way they talk to any tool. Hold that distinction, because it's the whole video. A pipeline runs a script. One agent uses helpers. A multi-agent system genuinely hands control between independent loops. Only that last one earns the name. And only that last one has the problems we're about to get into. Once control can hand off, there are really only 3 shapes teams come in. Learn these 3 and you can read any multi-agent system on the internet. Shape 1, and the most important, an orchestrator with workers. One lead agent, gold, up top, takes the big task, breaks it into pieces, and hands each piece to a worker. The workers run in parallel, each in its own loop, and report back. The lead stitches the answers together. It's a manager and a team. The lead doesn't do the work. It delegates and synthesizes. This is the shape behind most of the impressive demos you've seen. Shape 2, a swarm or handoff. No manager, just peers that pass control to whoever's the right specialist for the next step. A triage agent hands to a refunds agent, who hands to a shipping agent. One's awake at a time. The baton just moves. And shape 3 is the pipeline we already met. Fixed stages in a row. I'm including it because people call it multi-agent, but be honest, it's a workflow with extra steps. Now, one real problem. The moment you have separate agents, maybe built by different teams, different companies, they need a common way to talk. And if you've seen the MCP video, this should feel familiar. MCP standardized how an agent plugs down into tools. Vertical. The new standard, called A2A, agent to agent, does the same thing sideways. A common language for one agent to discover and delegate to another. MCP plugs an agent into tools. A2A plugs agents into each other. It's young, handed to the Linux Foundation, backed by a long list of the usual giants. But the point isn't the brand name. It's the same lesson as last time. The unlock for getting agents to cooperate is a boring standard, not a smarter model. Okay, we know the shapes. Let's take the strongest one, the orchestrator and its workers, and actually watch it run on a real task. Because this is where a team genuinely earns its keep. Here's the task. Find every board member of every tech company in the S&P 500. Give that to a single agent and watch it suffer. It has to go company by company. One search after another, all on one desk. Slow, and it runs out of room. Now, The lead agent reads the same goal and does the one thing the single agent couldn't. It splits the work. 5 workers spin up at once. You take these companies, you take those, and they all search in parallel. And here's the bit that connects to the last video. Each worker gets its own context window, its own desk. So the team isn't just faster. It has way more total working memory than any single agent could fit on one desk. The workers report back. A dedicated agent checks the sources, and the lead merges it all into one answer, in a fraction of the time. This is the shape multi-agent is built for. A big task that genuinely splits into independent pieces. And the numbers are real. On exactly this kind of open-ended research, one lab measured its agent team beating a single agent by around 90%. That's huge. But look what's sitting right next to it. That team burned roughly 15 times the tokens of a normal chat. Hold on to that number. Notice why it worked. The work was parallel. It was read-only. Everyone's just gathering. Nobody's stepping on anyone. And it was too big for one context window. When all 3 are true, a team wins. So, just use teams for everything? No. Because the second any of those 3 things isn't true, the exact same setup turns against you. Let me show you the same fork. On the wrong task. Quick pause. I'm genuinely curious. Have you actually shipped anything with multiple agents? Crew AI, LangGraph, a homemade swarm. Did it work, or did it turn into a mess? Drop it below. The war stories are the best part. Okay, because here's that same fork, pointed at a task it has no business touching. Same team, same orchestrator and workers. New task, build a small game. The lead splits it the same way it always does. 1 worker on the background, 1 worker on the character. Sounds reasonable. Watch it fall apart. Each worker is on its own desk, which was the superpower a minute ago. Here, it's the curse. Worker A decides the game looks one way. Worker B, who can't see A's desk, decides it looks completely different. Both work hard. Neither knows what the other chose. The lead goes to glue the pieces together, and they don't fit. Mismatched style, mismatched assumptions. A character dropped into a world it was never designed for. 2 correct halves, 1 broken hole. And this is the trap nobody warns you about. Every action an agent takes is also a decision. 100 little implicit choices. Split the work across agents that can't see each other, and you've split the decisions too. They drift apart, and they collide. A single agent building the same game never has this problem. Every choice it makes is sitting right there on one desk for the next choice to see. It stays consistent because it never lost the thread between itself and itself. So, it's not that teams are good or bad. It's the task. Independent, parallel, read-only work. A team flies. Tightly connected work where every piece depends on every other piece. A team trips over its own feet. Same machine. Opposite outcomes. On the path the swarm demos skip. Because even on the tasks where a team can win, it brings 4 problems you're signing up for. 1. Cost. Straight from the lab that's most bullish on multi-agent, a single agent uses around 4 times the tokens of a normal chat. A team uses around 15. You're paying 15 times for that 90% win. Sometimes worth it, usually not. And here's the uncomfortable footnote. That same lab found most of the performance gain was explained simply by spending more compute. A lot of the smarter team was really just bigger bill. 2. They fail more than you'd ever guess. A Berkeley study tore apart 7 state-of-the-art multi-agent systems across 1,600+ runs and found failure rates from 41 to nearly 87%. And most failures weren't the model being dumb, they were coordination breakdowns. Agents misunderstanding the handoff, talking past each other, nobody actually checking the final answer. The more agents you add, the more seams there are to fail at. 3. And this one's just math. Say each agent is a reliable 95%. Chain 10 of them, each depending on the last, and your odds of getting through clean aren't 95%. They're closer to 60. 20 agents? Worse than a coin flip? That's a worst case. Good systems add retries and checkers to claw it back. But the direction is brutal and unavoidable. Every extra agent in the chain is another place the whole thing can break. And 4. The debate is not settled, even among the experts. The day before that bullish lab post, the team behind one of the best coding agents had already published the opposite case, titled bluntly, "Don't build multi-agents." Their argument: most of the time you're better off with one agent that holds the full context than several that each see a slice. And a controlled study backed it. Give a single agent the same compute budget as the team, and it often matched or beat them. The team's edge wasn't intelligence, it was just more fuel. Fair warning in both directions. The don't camp sells a single agent product, and the do camp sells the frameworks. Everyone's talking their book. The neutral evidence than the failure study, the token math, is the part to actually trust. So strip away the hype and here's the verdict. Multi-agent isn't a miracle, and it isn't a scam. It's a trade-off. More agents don't give you a bigger brain. They give you a committee. And committees are fast when the work truly splits and attacks when it doesn't. The rule that actually holds up: reach for a team when the work is parallel, mostly read-only, and too big for one context window. Research, broad search, gathering. For almost everything else, anything where the pieces depend on each other, one well-fed agent wins. And that judgment deserves a name, because it's the same lesson we keep landing on. First it was designing the loop, then designing its memory. Now it's designing the team, when to split, who owns what, how they share context so they don't collide. Call it orchestration engineering. And notice the pattern across all three. The hard part is never adding more. More tools, more memory, more agents. The hard part is the restraint, knowing when one good loop is the whole answer. So here's multi-agent, with the mystery removed. It's only a team when control actually hands off. Not a pipeline, not one agent with helpers. Teams come in three shapes: orchestrator and workers, peer swarm, and the pipeline that barely counts. And they talk to each other through emerging standards like A2A, the sideways cousin of MCP. A team genuinely wins on parallel, read-only, oversized work. It breaks on tightly connected work. It costs you 15 times, and it fails in ways a single agent never could. More agents isn't smarter. It's a trade-off, and knowing when not to reach for a team is the real skill. That's orchestration engineering, and it's just getting started. If this saved you from building a swarm you didn't need, that's the whole point of this channel. Taking the AI everyone's hyping and showing you how it actually works, the ugly parts included. Subscribe and stay in the loop. And tell me in the comments, multi-agent, genuinely useful or mostly hype? I read everyone. Because here's where this goes next. 4 videos in, we've built the whole thing. A loop with tools, a memory, and a team. But every single turn, something quietly decides what the model actually sees. What you put in front of it each turn, that's the real lever. It's called context engineering, and it's where agents quietly win or lose. That's next time. See you in the loop.